All right, America. You're listening to Fitters Live. This is Steven Airey. We are on Mojo 50 Radio. It is an amazing night. So many things to get to. So many wonderful stories. I tell you what, it has been crazy. And I just want to start out, just get it right out in the open, you know, get everything going. Listen to this from Dan Crenshaw, representative from Texas. Here, listen to this guy.
It's like Trump said, we care about the people we love inside, and that's why we have these. And a physical barrier is a part of a multifaceted solution. And I wrote about this in the Wall Street Journal today. It's about 234 miles of physical barriers. That's what the plan calls for. It's about 75 extra immigration judges on the border to enhance the capacity of enrolling people here. It's about 750 more Border Patrol agents. It's more detention beds so that we can house all the families that are coming across. Remember, the reason this is a crisis, too, is because there's far more families actually coming across, far more women and children than we ever had before. That's why it's a humanitarian crisis. That's why President Obama himself, standing in front of the White House, had once said it is a humanitarian crisis on the border. And we are talking about technology. We're talking about more technology to detect drugs coming into ports of entry. This isn't some medieval solution. It is an actual, realistic, reasonable solution. It's multifaceted in nature. And the funny part is it's actually what Democrats often talk about on the House floor. They're saying, no, it's not just physical barriers. It's all these other things. We should have a mix. And I say, don't you realize that's actually our plan? Like, what are you arguing against? Don't argue against an idea that doesn't exist. It's like the sheriff said. Originally, there was talk about a grand 2,000-mile border wall. That doesn't work. It doesn't work in a lot of places in Texas. Okay, we have multifaceted solutions. That's what this is about.
I didn't have to interrupt him once because he pretty much said it right there. This is a man who has been doing nothing but, and by nothing but, I mean literally nothing but telling the truth about what's going on in the politics of D.C. and everything else as it sets every single day. This man is, he's an amazing find as a representative, and I'm glad that we have him. Not only am I glad that we have him, but I'm glad that we've got, him on our side. And there's so many things that this man could be doing. I mean, he's a vet. He lost a lot, as you could tell by videos and things like that of him. And he's done nothing but serve this country to the best of his ability as of yet. I'm really hopeful for him, as I hope that the swamp does not corrupt him in the same way that it corrupts pretty much everybody else that gets there and stays there and runs there and everything else. But I tell you, it is amazing to hear some truth about what's going on, and it's amazing to hear it from this guy in particular. So I wanted to start with that. I wanted to get that going on, and I also wanted to tell you guys a little bit about Patriot Mobile. You see, with Patriot Mobile, you can put an end to all the hidden fees, the automatic calls of funding liberal agendas, especially Planned Parenthood. If you're a person who believes in life, that would be good. You could defund Planned Parenthood, and you can drop Big Mobile at the exact same time. You see, Patriot Mobile, if you go to patriotmobile.com, you can go check out all of their plans and options, their phones that they have available. You can bring your own phone and your own phone number back with you. You can also call them at 1-800-A-PATRIOT. That's 1-800-272-8746. They support your values at a value price. Not only that, but every dollar that you put in, they give a small portion of that to a charity of your choice. So go to patriotmobile.com today or call them at 1-800-A-PATRIOT. Tell them Mojo sent you. Call them today, 1-800-A-PATRIOT or patriotmobile.com. Go check them out, man. They're amazing people, amazing company going through. Man, you guys are already active on the comment section. You want a wall, you want drones, you want a moat, you want a steel barrier, you want alligators, you want an underground moats and trapdoors and everything else. And that's kind of nice and all, but I don't think we need that much. But what he is talking about, he is talking about true comprehensive setups of security, which is what we need. We don't just need a wall because a wall is great, but a wall doesn't do everything for us. I mean, what are you going to do with certain areas of these timelines? And what are you going to do with certain aspects of what's going on? You have to have more personnel. You have to have more judges. You have to have all these people that are sitting on the border going through everything. You have to be able to go through this entire deal and ordeal and make sure that these people know what's going on. I mean, listen to this. This is from a guy right there in the field all the time. All right, this is from when just the other day when Trump went out of the border. Check this out.
Exactly. How many different countries? So far this sector has apprehended folks from 41 different countries. Just yesterday we apprehended 133 people.
This is from south of this is the border. 43 different countries just on the border of Texas and Mexico.
From countries other than Central America and Mexico. That includes individuals from India, Pakistan, China, Romania, Ecuador, Nicaragua, on and on and on. And so I know we keep talking about the family units and unaccompanied children, and that makes up about typically about 60-70%.
So 60 to 70% is family units, and by the way, they have to be organized. They have to go through those family units, and they have to figure out if those family units are actually family units or if they're people trying to smuggle children into a life of slavery. So that's another thing that they have to deal with. But along with that, so that's 60 to 70%. That means 30 to 40% are from a different country altogether. They're not from South America. They're not from Central America. They're not from Mexico. They're from Pakistan. They're from India. They're from all over the world. Mostly, they're from places that we probably don't want them to have access from south of the border.
We've seen a change over the last couple of weeks where that number is less than 50% of the apprehensions we make here in South Texas. So South Texas continues to lead the country in apprehensions as well as marijuana seizures in between the ports of entry. And so CBP and DHS are committed to both our border security mission as well as our humanitarian mission. Mr. President, Senators, we couldn't do it without your support. We really appreciate you coming down here. It means an awful lot to the men and women of DHS, CBP, the
And then he goes through and he does the whole CBP, you know, this means a lot to us. This means everything that's going on there. He's very, very happy that the president came down and put a spotlight on everything that's been happening on the border. And you know what? I am too. I'm not, you know, the biggest supporter of the president, as you guys know. I am not a Matt Locke when it comes to the situation. I don't, you know, praise him just to praise him. I don't sit there and say that he's doing 3D MAGA chess. But when he does something correct, he does something correct. And this is one place where I, you know, as a person who calls himself a conservative libertarian, I'm a person who believes more about the Constitution than about the full party principles of libertarianism. This is one of the aspects that I pull away from libertarians because in essence, libertarians are very much for open borders, just like, you know, some liberals, until it's their time to get into office, and then they're all about border security. But if you have the idea of open borders, that's their idea, is that, you know, you can't have free trade without open borders. I even saw a little meme that was coming out yesterday, and that the aspects that they put it were very similar to, you know, if you're calling for a border wall, then you're calling for the fact that the government has private property rights. And if the government has private property rights and you're living in the government, then obviously you don't have any rights and the government owns you. No. First of all, that's effing crazy. Every country in the world has a border. Many countries have to protect their borders with a barrier, a wall of some sort of stoppage, some stop point. Not because, you know, sometimes it's because of wars and violence. Sometimes it's because they're a mass dictatorship and they want to keep everybody else out. Sometimes it's because they're like our country and so many people want to come to our country that we have to put up some sort of barrier. We have to put up some sort of wall. We have to put up some sort of doorway for them to come through so that we can keep track of who is and is not coming in and out of our country so that we don't get taken advantage of. Now, yes, it is true that we as a country are no longer providing enough enough children to actually replace the people that are here in each generation. We're now below the population replacement line. It's, you know, kids per set of parents. 2 kids per parents. That keeps we're down at like 1.7, I think it is. And if you have people from south of the border, or you have people from other countries, they normally have more kids than Americans nowadays, anyway. And that's because of their population, their ideas, their cultures, and everything else. And honestly, I'm doing my part, guys. I have 4 kids. I'm doing my part. I'm young. I have 4 kids. I'm good. My kids will be ruling over your kids. Not yours, but those other people's kids, because those kids won't be grown up by the time that they actually have children. So the entire point is, I understand there's a population need, there's a population replacement need, and things like that. We can allow more immigration in. That's cool. That is great, as long as it's legal. Legal immigration. I don't want people coming in here thinking that they can just take advantage of what we have. I don't want people coming in here thinking that they have to go through, that they're going to come in and just, steal their way to victory every day. This is a merit-based system. America is a merit-based understanding. We have the basis of our entire process here is based upon your work, your effort, your application. Whatever you do, it's your work, your application. That's what it should be. You make a profit off of your application. You make a profit off of your understandings. You make a profit off of your ideas. If you can make it work, it's a meritocracy. It's not selfish either. It's not an idea that I'm going to do this for me and me alone. No, if you share your ideas with other people and they decide that they want to pay you for it, or they decide that they want to actually help you or see if they can benefit from the same ideas that you have, that is not a selfish idea. That is an idea of giving. That is an idea of making the world better throughout. It's an idea that you can make the world better by making by coming up with something that nobody else has thought of, and not only come up with something that nobody else has thought of, but then take that, you make a living off of it, and you help other people with it. If we didn't have the processes that we have today, the world would be a very different place. You wouldn't have countries rivaling our own. You wouldn't have, by that I just mean market standards, and that's in that way. You wouldn't have the technology in place in this world because the government never would have come up. This internet that we have would never have been created, despite what the government says and despite what Al Gore says. He did not make it. There are so many things in our lifetime that if it wasn't for the idea of a meritocracy, if it wasn't for the idea that you, under the best notions and best intentions of your life, can make a product or do a thing or come up with an idea that can be shared, created, or embellished by somebody else eventually down the line, that could help people, that could set people up for success later in their lives, in the next generation, if it wasn't for some idea that our families and our families' families and our families' families' families and the people that we don't even know would be able to live and breathe and succeed by the works that we do with our hands. The technology in the world that we have today would never have existed because government would have squashed it. Because we have a system that's been in place for, I don't know, we're the youngest and yet still oldest constitution in the world. How does that work? Youngest country, oldest constitution, oldest same government. How does that work? It only works for a moral and just society. That's the only thing that it works for. That's the only time that it works. Kevin Hutchinson over here on the Facebook page. In 20 years, human reproduction will be illegal. New humans. Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I mean, the idea of conception and everything else, I kind of get you. That's more of a, what are you gonna call it? That's oh, I forgot the name of that movie. There was a movie out there where you had to, like, you could only breed the best of you, and it was this crazy movie and everything. I don't remember it. Anyway, that's kind of down that line. That's more of a science fiction line. I can't go down that way with you. Not yet. I haven't seen that sort of deal. I haven't seen that sort of setup. Man, you guys got 4 kids there, 4 kids there. Matt Holloway has 4 kids. A bunch of people have a ton of grandkids. Everything going through. Yeah. A boy and his dog, and that whole deal. Gattaca is one of them. Yeah, sure, but I'm not talking about Gattaca. It's another one. Crazy futuristic, but here still on Earth. Children of Men. No, not the Clive Owen one. It wasn't Clive Owen, but it was another guy kind of like Clive Owen. No, it's not Pierce either. 3 boys. Wow. Think about that. You have 3 boys. Those 3 boys could have hundreds of kids. Mm-hmm. Yep. That's very true. It is very true. Oh man, but I tell you what, it's the idea that you as a people, that we as a populace can together grow and become better people, because we desire the process of things to happen to better our families and our lives overall. And one of the best things that you can do to make sure that you can protect your family and your life is to go to Tar River Arms. That's TRAGuns.com. TRAGuns.com. It's a veteran-owned, veteran-run. They've got great prices, great service, great guns. Tons of online accommodations. They have 3D interactive experiences as well as a zoom-in feature. You can see everything. You can see the grain on the grip. You can see if there's little holes in little areas. You can see it's everything that you can do except for touch the gun. It is amazing. So if you already know what type of gun you're looking for, what style of gun you're looking for, I would tell you one of the best things that you can do is go to TRAGuns.com. Go check out what they have going on. And by the way, come January 21st, this is coming very soon, they're going to have layaway and consignment options. It's TRAGuns.com. Tell them that Steven over at Mojo50 sent you. Steven with Defenders Live. Tell them that. Let them know. So that they can tell me that I did a good job, because I want a good pat on the head. Good job. Check out the Sig Bravo 4. It's a 5.56 or 7.62, 30 millimeter. It is normally $11.99. It's only $7.05, guys. It's only $7.05. If I click on this here, they've got 2 in stock. All right. Wow. Oh, that's pretty looking. That's nice. That's nice. But they have so many different options, guys. They have everything going through. They're even got a Class 3 items. Go check them out. You can also get that 6-hour P938 Legion Series 9mm pistol. They still have that for $779, down from $904. Oh, I kind of like it. I kind of want it. It'd be pretty. I need a pistol. Go to Tar River Arms. It's TRAGuns.com. You can find them there all the time. And plus, Kurt, he's a good guy. But, okay, so you have that, right? You have everything with the border wall going on. And then you turn back, right? You turn back into our own country. And let's say Nevada. We go to Nevada. What's happening in Nevada right now? Right now in Nevada, a female teacher was arrested for kidnapping a student after she started sending racy messages to him. A high school teacher in Nevada was arrested on Monday for kidnapping charges after inappropriate messages between her and her students were found, police says. 27-year-old, I'm not going to say her name, at Basic International Studies in Henderson, Nevada, that's very different from Henderson, North Carolina, is facing 2 counts, first-degree kidnapping and lewdness with a minor and luring a minor. This coming from Clark County School District Police. She was arrested after a month-long probe was launched in November when the authorities were first alerted to the inappropriate messages between her and her student, Lieutenant Darnell Couthen said. It was not very clear why the kidnapping charges were warranted. See, it looks like he kind of just ran away with the teacher. He was hot for teacher. I mean, Bueller? Anybody? No? Okay. Well, it's not that I don't want to shame her. It's just, I'm tired of giving people's names. It's a teacher did it. Okay? It was a teacher. This lady, she's 27-year-old and probably, no, I can pronounce her name. I'm just not saying it because it's not pertinent to the information. What is pertinent to the information? She was 27 years old. She decided to start talking back and forth with a teenage young male with his hormones rampaging throughout his body. I'm sure you guys have heard all about the rampaging hormones if you watched Izzo just a few minutes ago. Rampaging through his body, all he wants is just to have sex or whatever else he wants to do. And the teacher went ahead and decided that she was going to, jump on that. Get down on it. Get down on it with the jiggy. But, it's not... I bring it up mainly because most of the time when you hear stories like this, it's a guy, okay? And with everything that's been going on with the whole toxic masculinity crap and everything that's been happening throughout the process, this was an older female preying on a younger male. I need to point that out. I need to make sure you guys see it. Because if you don't see it, you won't know about it. And if you don't know about it, then nobody's going to talk about it. And if nobody talks about it, then we're all screwed. Because it just doesn't make sense. So what are we going to do? We have to go through this entire point. You know what's... Yeah, actually, Watson, it is Ethan Hawke, but it's not Gattaca. It's not Gattaca, but it is Ethan Hawke. Okay? It's Ethan Hawke, but it's not Gattaca. At least I don't think it is. Anyway. If we don't bring this up and we don't point it out, then the stereotype that... Oh my God, all the males in this world are just masochistic and all they're going to do is rape women and kill women and they're just going to keep on doing their toxic masculinity and everybody's going to die. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Why don't you guys just turn gay and have sex with each other? No. 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 You have to take that away. You have to get out of that. You have to stop yourself from thinking that mindset. It's not just men that decide to go and attack these children. These impulses are not exclusively to men. These impulses are not exclusive to anybody. They're everywhere. Everybody has them. If you have that in your heart, if you have that in your mind, you're going to do it anyway. And the continuing education of sexual repression and sexual misunderstandings is only going to help that problem grow. It's only going to create a worse situation for everybody. And I don't get why these people look at this and say, oh yeah, this is the best thing that we can do. We're going to talk about sex ed when they're very young. We're going to start sexualizing our kids. We're going to take all of our boys and turn them and basically try to make them girls. And after we try to make them girls, then we're going to have them sit up next to a drag queen who's standing there naked on a live photo shoot, which is basically pornography, folks. Anyway, that sound means that there's a break, so I'm going to take one. Wait. Who's looking like a demon? Who's looking like a demon? Anybody? Bueller? Looking like a demon? I don't get it. What does that mean? Looking like a demon? Yeah. Oh, that's true. Oh, you're talking about the girl. Okay. Yeah. She's an okay looking girl. Yes. And that's the thing. Like she was an okay looking girl, and it just came to be that she was just some crazy woman that decided that she was going to do that. But I don't know. These people are obscene. It doesn't make sense to me. What are they doing? Got no clue. I got no clue. Nobody in the MeWe has any clue because apparently they're just talking about junk. So nobody in the MeWe. All right, that's fine. It's fine. I've got my coffee. Everything's good. She scared you. Who scared you? It might be Gattaca. Maybe I'm wrong. Is it Gattaca? I don't know. Maybe it's it. I don't know. I don't know. I can't watch that right now, dude. It might be Gattaca. It might be Gattaca. Is it Gattaca? I was wrong. I stand corrected. It is Gattaca. I was wrong. I looked it up. I verified it. It is Gattaca. I was wrong. That is the correct movie. Sorry. Didn't mean to naysay. I was wrong. I will stand corrected. Got to come clean. That's the rules. Got to come clean. Welcome back, folks. This is Defenders Live on Mojo 50 Radio. By the way, if you guys have not checked out charitymagnets.com, you need to go check it out. It's charitymagnets.com. They design and produce some of the most beautiful, high-quality products for law enforcement and their supporters and enthusiasts. Their communities include law enforcement professionals, their families, first responders, their corrections officers, members of the military, and private citizens who are dedicated to honor, integrity, and helping others in a time of need. Not only does your support go toward them and are set up and sincerely valued by the brave men and women of law enforcement, but it also sends a little bit of money over to the Cops for Kids with Cancer, an organization that has sent over $2.5 million in donations for cancer research. Go to charitymagnets.com, use the promo code MOJO, you get $5 off. Promo code MOJO, $5 off over at charitymagnets.com. Oh my goodness. So, there's this been in this... I just I need you guys to listen to this for a minute. It's 3 minutes long. It's from the Steve Harvey TV show. My YouTube feed will probably get cut for this, but I don't care because you have to hear this. I just want you to hear this, and this is amazing.
So, Steve, I am a mother to 2 girls and 1 boy, and my son is the oldest. And so my son decided when he's 12. Okay. So he decided when he was like 6 years old that he wanted to be a Navy SEAL. So I agreed. Well, he came about, let's say last year and said, Mom, I want to go to military school. So that means he was in the 6th grade going to the 7th grade. We signed the papers. We're waiting on the acceptance letter. But the problem is I have a few family members that are upset with me for letting this young man make his own decision at the age of 12. It's an emotional decision, so I think that I just need the support from some of the family members, and they're not willing to give me that. They're giving me a lot of backlash. Okay, let me ask you this. What's wrong with your family? He didn't... See, letting a boy make a decision is when he makes an ignorant decision. Your little boy didn't come to you and say, hey, look, I want to drop out of school and sell drugs. Amen. He didn't come in the house and go, hey, I'm going to drop out of school right now at 12 and be a rapper. This little boy said, I want to go to a military school. He wants to go to school. The fact that it's a military school, come on. Really, that's pretty deep for a 12-year-old to think like that. When they really ought to be applauding his maturity level
to look at himself, I want to be a Navy SEAL. I want to be a Boy Scout. I want to be in a military school. And then you go down there and put the boy in military school. He going to be fine.
Steve,
Now, so the reason why I pull that up is because this guy, this kid, 12 years old, decides that he wants to go to military school. He's had a dream to be he's had a dream to be a SEAL or a Marine or something. And he wants to go to military school. 12 years old, gets everything. Yeah, exactly, Rocky. I know you were. I saw it. You were saying, you were like, oh crap, Steve Harvey. I knew you were going to do that too. I knew you were going to do that, but this was a good one, and that's the reason why I wanted you to hear it. A kid wants to go to military school. He wants to better himself. He wants to do better. Steve goes back through and he talks about the family and everything like that, talking about how these old folks with no dream need to step away and allow the people with dreams to go and fulfill. They don't need to crush the dreams of other people. This kid wants to do it. He's already ready for it. He's prepared himself for it. He's been looking for this opportunity his entire life. He made a decision. His mom agreed. Everything is going forward. And then there's an entire family back behind him that's a soul crush. If you allow a boy to be a boy and a man to grow up to be a man, allow them to set themselves on a path. And whether they fall, whether they all it is just to get back up, right? Whether they fall, whether they succeed, whether they fail, it's all accustomed to what they can do. Everything's a lesson. Everything's a chance to learn. So this boy wants to go to military school. He wants to better himself. He wants to possibly, he wants to become a SEAL. He wants to become, everything else. And later in life, once he gets through that entire deal, more than likely he's going to be not only successful, but he's probably going to be a businessman. He's probably going to be higher up in the military ranks. He's probably going to set himself up to a point that he will be respected by those around him and he will be an honorable man. You cannot take the dreams of our children away from them because you didn't succeed. And that's all I see today, Gillette. That's all I see. Everybody with, oh, we have the best intentions and everything is going to be... No, you don't have the best intentions. All you're trying to do is either sell a product or hawk your own political schemes. No. Not anymore. Set yourself on a path. Study it. Make sure it's a good one. And then follow that path. When you stumble, get up. If you can't, ask for help. But don't turn to the people that you know in their entire life they have achieved absolutely nothing, Bernie Sanders. Lived off of everybody else. Their soul has been crushed, and so they're going to crush yours because crabs in a bucket never get out. You guys ever hear that term, crabs in a bucket? See, if you put one crab in a bucket, it climbs out, no problem. But if you put more than one crab in a bucket, the one that's down lower pulls on the other crab, and they never get out. Don't be a crab in a bucket. Don't squash dreams. Make sure that these people understand who you are, what you are, and why you are. And you know what? This goes to another point that I wanted to talk to you guys about because over at, a CNN analyst was trying to call out a Fox News guy. Have you guys ever heard of David Webb? He's an on-air talent for Fox News. And take a listen. Let me see here. Get this going. Oh. Rut. I hate those promos. They're just going to go through until I can't do it anymore, are they? That's the thing. All right, I got to wait for the promo to load because it's a stupid video on a different website. But I got to let you know how this is going here. So,
their primary requirement, regardless of ethnicity, regardless of network, be that they are capable of covering politics. For instance, if you're going to cover political campaigns, sports may not be the most qualified background, and that brings to the point of if people want to get into these fields, regardless of color, I've chosen to cross different parts of the media world, done the work so that I'm qualified to be in each one. I never considered my color the issue. I considered my qualifications the issue.
Well, David, you know, that's a whole nother long conversation about white privilege and things that
mistake number one.
You have the privilege of doing that people of color don't have the privilege.
Mistake number two.
How do I have the privilege of white privilege?
David, by virtue of being a white male, you
double down.
Have white privilege. This whole long conversation, I don't have time to get into it.
Ariva, I hate to break it to you, but you should have been better prepped. I'm black.
Okay, then I stand.
See, you.
Oh, goodness gracious. I tell you what, I'm so happy when things like this happen. And the reason why I'm so happy when things like this happen is because it is exactly what you need to point out. The tables turned on this woman because she went and said, because of your white privilege, you have succeeded in this world. And the only reason why she said it is because she assumed, because his voice wasn't atypically black enough. Oh, and he does put her in her place. You got to go back through and you can listen to the entire audio. It is amazing. He's got another minute of tirade that just he talks over top of her, just crushes her entire thing, and then drops the mic. And she's just like, well, if you would allow me to apologize and nope, you can't do it. You won't do it. Because you wouldn't do it for anybody else. But you know what you can do? You can go to rightongame.com. If you go to rightongame.com, use the promo code MOJO, you can get 10% off discount on the game itself. Why the Right On Game? Because mocking the left feels so right. Just like there. See, the game has tons of categories like wussification of America, Earth snobs, Islam abomination, Hollywood hypocrisies, campus coddling, feminism's follies, rainbow games, and millennial entitlement. So much more in the box. I mean, it's so good they have to have a trigger warning on it. It's so good it has a trigger warning. Go to rightongame.com, use the promo code MOJO50, get 10% off today. Well, tonight. It'd be tonight. You know, that's by the deal. But anyway. So there was a story that was coming out, and I wanted to point out a few things. There's two stories that I saw today. Indianapolis, Indiana, for the first time, odds of dying of opioid overdose higher than dying in a car crash. Steve Harvey has support of Trump in the past, and yeah. I mean, look, I'm not gonna bash Steve Harvey. I don't know about his personal life. Apparently, he's got a lot of junk going on, and that's just what it is. It's a lot of junk. It's his personal stuff. I don't want to deal with it. He might even be dropping out of NBC. But besides that, I brought up that clip because it was important to our society today. It was important to our society today, just like this. Because for the first time, a person in the U.S. is more likely to die from an accidental opioid overdose than a motor vehicle. A new analysis from the National Safety Council says that odds of dying by an accidental overdose is 1 in 96. It's now surpassed the odds of dying in a car accident, which is 1 in 103. What's Webb's buddy's name, who's a Democrat that is fairly honest? There's a Democrat that's fairly honest, Sean? I mean, have you been drinking the whiskey again, Sean? Because I don't know. I don't know. Drug-free Marion County Executive Director Randy Miller says that the revelation is shocking. Since 2013, for the past 5 years, we have increased the number of deaths from opioids in Marion County. This has not just been in Marion County. There has been multiple places that have been going on, and the fact that the opioid crisis is the way that it is not because of the war on drugs and everything else. It's actually more along the lines of just people don't care anymore. They want to get their high. They don't want to work. They want to sit at home. They want to do nothing. They don't have ambition in their life. They've lost a drive. They've lost the will to keep going. And so you have this huge opioid crisis because people are looking for escapism. And if all that you do throughout your life is just look to escape the reality that you're living in, you're going to turn to drugs eventually. You're going to turn to something that's heavily addictive. And if you start at one thing and you go to another and you go to another and you go to another because you're chasing the high, that it is what it is. And it leads to other things like this story. 1 dead and 12 hospitalized in a mass fentanyl overdose. This happened in, oh, guess what? California. Duh. California. 1 person is dead and over a dozen were rushed to the hospital after the apparent mass fentanyl overdose in Chico, California on Saturday. See, 4 of those taken to the hospital were in critical condition, according to authorities. Police called the 13 people friends and acquaintances, but did not provide exact relations to the homeowner. Of course, they were all found in the exact same home. The victim's age ranges from 19 to about 30, because they don't really know. Police did not provide many details of the person who died, but said that he was an adult male who died on the scene. How dare they guess this man's gender? 2 police officers, the first to appear on the scene, were also taken into the hospital after reporting symptoms. They were treated and released. Thankfully, they're okay. See, fentanyl is easily transmitted. Even just like even smelling it could cause reactions to some people, especially if you're not used to any sort of opioid or heroin type of drug. Authorities said that everything was consistent with a fentanyl overdose, but the testing has not been done, so they're trying to test it through. As tragic as it is, it would have been a lot worse if they hadn't been taking naloxone. Naloxone is the drug that actually stops the effects of fentanyl in your body. If they hadn't been taking naloxone, then or have naloxone in their cars and everything else, then most likely not only would the police officers that first responded be in trouble, but everybody would have either been dead or in worse condition. At Chico State University, tuition free because there's a cover charge. All right. Wasn't that a Jim Croce song, Crabs in a Bucket? It might have been a Jim Croce song. You might be right about that. I don't know. Wasn't a very big Jim Croce fan. I mean, I like some of his songs, but I don't know all the titles. Quote, we do respond to many overdoses, and particularly the opioid crisis that is occurring everywhere in this country, includes Chico, California, and wanted to have it in the hands of officers who are often the first to arrive on scene, and the ability to administer the life-saving drugs, naloxone. Now, here's the thing. I bring that story up, and I bring the story up before it because there's another story. See, fentanyl is not the drug that your heroines and your cocaines. Those are the drugs that are being transported from south of the border. But fentanyl is not being transported from south of the border. That's coming from China. At least most of it. And I say that because I want to bring up this other story over here. So one of the biggest issues that we come into place with drug trafficking is that you really don't actually catch the traffickers as they go in and out. Well, in Canada, a Canadian man was caught. And he was sentenced to 15 years in prison for trafficking drugs, drug smuggling from China into Canada. and then likewise from Canada into the U.S. probably. Escapism is slavery. Yes, that is true. Escapism is slavery, just in another way. That way we're, you remember, what was it, Ready Player One, where they're talking about the lost generation? That could be the way we go. If the generation that we have currently being raised, the Generation Z, the I generation, or whatever one you want to call it, if that generation gets pushed aside and their dreams get squashed by something else, then yes, we will have a lost generation, and they will be escaping into virtual realities, most likely. See, a court in China has ordered a retrial of a Canadian man who was sentenced last month after being found guilty on a drug smuggling charge, potentially adding more pressure to the, quote, Canada-China relationship. A higher people's court in the Liaoning province heard an appeal Saturday from the Robert Lloyd Schellenberg, who was given 15 years prison sentence last month for his involvement in international drug trafficking activities. See, at the appeal hearing, prosecutors argued that Schellenberg was likely to be part of the international drug smuggling operation. It decided to do light punishment because they couldn't prove any of the things, but they were going to punish him anyway for 15 years for his obviously inappropriate behavior and everything else. China said that's not good enough. After the court ruled, China said it's not good enough. Quote, Global Affairs, Canada has been following this case for several years now and has been providing counselor assistance to the Canadian citizens since they were first detained in Liaoning, China. Yeah, I can't say that either. I probably could, but I just can't read it right now. We will continue to provide counselor services to them and their families. This coming from the CBC News. Due to the provision under the Privacy Act, they could not say anything else. You see, this comes in the face of a couple things. The reason why I'm even bringing it up is because you guys may not know, but there's this other company. It's a big tech company in China. They're called Huawei. Huawei is a huge tech company. They've been taking over the field as far as China is concerned when it comes to smartphone technology. See, China has been pushing, because they are a communist nation, for everything to be made, not only made in-house, but also only bought, that you can only buy Chinese products. The government is actually forcing it. It's not just a recommendation where they say, you should, but it's one of those things where the government is saying, if you don't, you will be penalized with the new system of, checks and balances that we have on your social credit scores. So Huawei has been boosting up in sales, and Apple products have been dropping in sales in China, even though Apple is made in China. So what does that mean? Well, see, the Huawei chief financial officer, Meng Wanzhou, was arrested in Vancouver, which is a problem. Oh, look at that. We got the Ruffs in here. Hey, Ruffs. Don't worry, Six. I saw you, buddy. See, the financial officer was arrested in December, on December 1st, under the guise of U.S. extradition. Because the chief financial officer has been accused of fraud, lying to banks, and about business activities in Iran. You see, Chinese officials haven't called the arrest of the other actors in retaliation, but they have pointedly compared the cases, insisting that the men detained in accordance to Chinese laws will maintain that Ming's arrest was illegal. So China is having an issue with Canada because Canada arrested somebody for America because America has some facts that this person was in control of some financial dealings that was underhanded and against international law, let alone the laws of the country that they were in at the time that they committed them. And so what are they doing? Well, China's like, you know what? screw you guys. We're going to retry this one guy that might be, you know, part of the international dealings of drugs and everything smuggling, because you know what? You're going to keep our people. We're going to keep your people. And by that, I mean every company in China is run by the government. If you don't know that or you don't understand that, then you don't understand China. Every company in China is either run by China or a subsidiary of China. They give their homage to China. That is it. It is a big communist state because they have so many people. And they have so many things going on, and they're also inflating their money, and they're also, you know, faking their profits and everything else. They have been able to stay afloat. And because we support them with a bunch of other stuff that's been going on as a country. So they, instead of attacking America, because if they attacked America, then it would be all-out hell, and they already have a big trade war issue with Trump, even though they're kind of working it out, hopefully, maybe one day, I don't know. They've decided that they're going to start, you know, taking Canadian citizens that have been over there and have been found guilty of, you know, other crimes, and possibly retrying them for harder sentences, like death. See, this is one of the things I love about America. No double jeopardy. There is no double jeopardy. If you get sentenced for a crime, no matter what the crime is, you cannot be sentenced again. You cannot be retried for that exact same crime. It has to be a different crime. It could be the same crime, just in a different time. But you cannot be retried for the exact same crime that happened at the exact same time. That's American law. That's pretty much only America. I think maybe the UK has it. I don't remember off the top of my head. But that is an American thing. Double jeopardy laws are an American thing. And it astounds me to think that a man who's already gotten a sentence is just going to is going to be walked into another courtroom again to get retried again in the Chinese courts to say, hey, guess what? We know we sentenced you to, you know, light duties in 15 years, but sucks to be you. Look like we're going to try you on the same things, but this time we're going to put a harsher sentence and see if we can get you on that again. Which, it's China. They can, and they probably will, but they'll make it. It'll be kangaroo court. Everything will be done. It'll all be written in stone before it even happens. And it's all dependent on one thing. Let our CFO go. Let the CFO of Huawei go. And we'll only keep him for the 15 years. It's not good. And it's not good for a retrial for China. You see, China treats drug offenses very seriously, and they use very severe punishments. By that I mean, like, they kill you if you're a Chinese citizen. But the fact that he's a citizen of a different country, that's the only reason why he's being treated the way that he is. It's astounding to think. So, quote, their system works very much more differently than ours. There is potential for party intervention in sensitive cases in a way that simply not possible in either Canada or America or other things. Canada, the way that they work very similar to America, but not quite the same. Guys, there's a problem with China. There's a problem with the country in general. There's a problem with our country, but you know what? We can make it work. We can fix these situations if we decide to better ourselves, pull ourselves up, walk the path, and make it better one day at a time. Folks, this has been Defenders Live on Mojo 50. Check out everybody else. You can find the lineup on mojo50.com. Tonight at midnight, check out the Situation Room. I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. All right, everybody. Check you later. Bye-bye.